This is a good example of how we do wrong in watering. Hi, this is miltonchang of Bonsai Heirloom. This is the middle of July. I dug this tree. I had my gardener dug this tree about 2 weeks ago with the idea of doing a video to show how I turned this garden juniper into a bonsai. And he covered it with compost, redwood bark, grind up bark, and water it, thinking he had kept it moist. Well, this is a good example of how we do wrong in watering. We make our soil very porous, and then we water it, and then in reality, the dried up compost really does not absorb water. So water just runs right out and the roots get dried out. So by the time when I look at it, it's all yellow. You can see it's yellow. So what I thought is that I would try to salvage this tree because it's got 25 years growth in the ground. And the inkling that it gave me that it's still salvageable is I can still see some very green underneath of the brown. And so I had to wear thick garden gloves to prevent me from getting poked. They are very pokey at this point, the juniper needles. But you see, as I clean it off, you can see underneath of it's got a little bit of green. So I have high hope this tree will survive if I take good care of it from this point forward. But this is an experiment for us to show two things. One is what to not do in watering, and second is to how to salvage a tree and to not give up too soon. But at least we can talk about something about styling. But you can see after I pull off the yellow, it looks a little bit greener. So I think there's hope that this tree will survive. Can you see, compared here to here, you can see here there's still some green that are quite green, whereas this is quite yellow. So I think there's hope that this tree will survive. So let's work on it patiently, and hopefully it will turn into a nice bonsai someday. When there's life, there's hope. Yeah, I think this will survive. You see the green inside? Not much, but it's green. So with that in mind, then I will clip off, in fact, more than I normally do to save the hydration. Also, I forgot to mention is I soaked this in water for 2 days so that there's liquid hydration everywhere. With that in mind, then I just start clipping and try to make that into a bonsai. I think what I will do is I use this as the apex, as the base, and then this grow up as the top. And given all of this die back, I'll cut off here. Hopefully this at least will become the apex. Hopefully this branch will work. I cut off more, hopefully these will take over. I'm not sure any of these will work, so I hope these will start over again. I think this is going up this way, and this is going up too far. So I'll probably make this the apex about here, no more than here. So it comes up a little bit like that. And I cut off as much as I can to save water. Hopefully the amount of liquid absorbed by the roots will go to the appropriate living pieces that I wanted to live. I think there's a high hope that this tree will survive, so we shall see. us together as a group. We are a community now. See, there's still more green underneath the shade of the top growth. So I've done a minimum amount of clipping. In a sense, I did a lot of clipping, but spend minimum amount of time just in case the tree did not work. Look at how yellow the top branches are versus the little green that's coming out. So there's high hope that this tree will survive. And so I'm going to put it back in the growing pot and water it well in the shade, and it should survive. In summary, I'm trying to salvage this tree, but the lesson we learn from this is that when you plant your tree in with a lot of compost so that it's got good drainage, it's very essential you keep the compost wet so that water doesn't run out. And when you plant it, you press it down many times after you water it so that the soil is compact, the roots are in touch with the soil, and water doesn't run through the compost and not really stay put so that the roots get dried out. So this tree, as I said, we left it in the ground with the compost, but it really didn't get water, which we thought it did. And here I'm trying to salvage it, and hopefully it will work. I think that's pretty much the lesson we need to learn, and I'll keep you posted. I didn't work on some of the details by cleaning off these stubs, but if it's working, we'll work on this tree again 3 to 6 months from now. You will see it should come back quite nicely. So thank you very much. Please like the video if you feel you learned something from this silly mistake. Subscribe to our channel and comment on what else you want to see so that we can notify you of future videos that are of interest to you and informative to you. So thank you very much. See you next week.